Did your narcissist seem like they were a great dad or a great parent, but they kept abusing you? Well, you need to understand that no matter what level, narcissistic abuse greatly affects the children. Sometimes you want to convince yourself, or you want to see like, oh, it doesn't as much because like they're showing up really well for them, just not really well for me. We're going to break that down. We're going to talk about it a little bit. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, change, and development. I'm the founder of Raw Motivations, the creator of the NARC app, and your guide in the 45-day Clarity Challenge that you can access at claritychallenge.net. If you like what you see here talking about narcissism, narcissistic abuse, my journey in narcissism, please hit subscribe. Hit that notification so you can get notified when we drop new content, when we go live on the channel, multiple things like that, so you can build up your awareness, or you can share that awareness with other people to help them get free from the toxicity that they're struggling in. A lot of times we don't talk enough about the abuse that happens to the kids. Now, just as a preface, and I think I say this later in the video, like abuse that happens in any aspect, like needs to either get reported, needs to get put away, needs to get to the place where you're out of the relationship. Like that's the goal, is keep you safe. But typically we don't talk about the impact, the signs, the importance of healing when we're talking about the abuse that happens to the kids. I think society is slowly starting to see this more of like, wait a second, how we've been impacted in our generation, like as kids, we need to also take care of like our kids because like they're getting impacted as well. So many times people aren't thinking about the divorce or the toxic relationship or like something that they're going through, not thinking about how it actually affects the kids. Well, it impacts them greater just early on. Like greater levels get impacted with their early development. This could be like that emotional abuse, the psychological abuse, sometimes physical abuse. Like this can be a lot of different things that happens. There's also going to be abuse by proxy because as they watch you as the person that's getting abused, they start to realize in their mind either this is what love is, this is what's justified, like this is okay for it to happen. And oftentimes they'll end up getting with a person or becoming narcissistic because of that. So you need to understand that you're fighting for your growth, but you're also fighting for your kids. Typically, a child that is in a narcissistic household, that is in narcissistic abuse, is going to struggle with all different levels of depression, of anxiety, sometimes different health issues, different developmental issues, like different things that are going to hold them back. They're going to sideline them later in life because of the frame that they have been given growing up in a toxic household. I mentioned, but a lot of times children in narcissistic homes have a propensity of being two different things. Either one, turning out to be a narcissist because that's what's modeled and shown and behaved, and that's what's placed upon them in the shame and the degrading. Or getting with someone who is narcissistic. So many times a child will grow up and be with a person who is narcissistic, and a lot of the times the people that I talk to, the survivors that I do Zoom calls with every single day, they'll say, yeah, my mom was this way. My dad was this way. I dated someone this way. There was someone in my life that was this way. And we normally see a pattern of this person has already set you up to fail. This parent has already set you up to fail because of the fact that you are around that toxicity so much that you ended up getting with someone who is toxic as well. So now it is your turn to fight. It is your turn to take up that charge and make sure that the kids don't get that same type of abuse. So what are some of the signs? Not just this aspect of like them acting like entitled 2-year-olds, okay? And not just them yelling or being exactly like the narcissist. Those do happen, okay? And those are all things that you need to be able to continue to show up and work on and develop and help your child as you move forward. But sometimes you have the aspect of being withdrawn. You'll see them start to pull away from you, from everyone. Should be like some warning signs of like, wait a second, like what's actually going on? Because they start hiding, they start getting a little closed off. And as a result, they're not actually processing their feelings, their emotions. They're not actually talking to anyone. And there's this hidden aspect of things that sometimes will lead to greater aspects like self-harm. And you see them not taking care of themselves. You see them hiding the things that they're doing to hurt themselves because they don't know how to be able to process or deal with the pain. Deal with the abuse, deal with the mind that other person is trying to control and manipulate. Sometimes it can be where they struggle to find friends, to get in relationships or get in healthy relationships. And again, if you suspect any abuse of any kind, like, you need to report it. You need to get out. You need to do whatever you can to be safe, but also to protect them. Maybe you're in the place today where you're separated and you have the kids. And you have the kids maybe half the time or 3/4 of the time or whatever it might be. And you're concerned. You're like, I don't know what to do because I'm with this person. I was with this person. Now we're separated, but we still have the kids. We still have to swap the kids around. Like, what am I going to do to actually help them heal, grow, change, and develop? Well, when we're talking about this, first off, therapy and support groups can be really helpful. Can be really helpful. There's a lot of people that have their kids in therapy already. It's expensive, yeah. But it's also a price to pay to be able to help them grow, heal, and change. Sometimes just the fact of you showing up real in the relationship with your kids can be mind-blowing in helping them move forward. So many people in society have gotten this way because they grew up in families that they never saw issues, they never saw problems, everything was already masked, so they thought, this is a perfect relationship. Why can't my relationship be perfect just like my parents? And when you take that away, you take away the possibility of them actually realizing that you're a human being too, and you struggle as well, but how you deal with it, how you process it, how you grow yourself is one of the catalysts to actually show them how they can actually live. This is why when you fly on planes and it says if we lose cabin pressure, you're going to have a mask drop down. Fix your own mask first and then help everybody else. Because so often you want to give oxygen to other people before you take it yourself, and as a result, you end up passing out and not being helpful or effective or just dead weight on everybody else too. So you need to understand, if you want to be able to help your children, you need to focus on you. Doesn't mean you ignore your children, but it means you focus on you so much that your growth, your healing is an outpouring of all the things that you're doing that spills over onto them and helps them continue to grow, continue to move forward. So when we're talking about that, it's coming to the place of getting to the place where you have enough confidence, enough stamina, enough behind you to support them. To have them know that, hey, I don't have it all together. Here I am crying. Here I am upset. Here I am mad. But this is how I'm processing. This is how I'm dealing with my feelings. This is how I'm dealing with my emotions. And as a result, they know that you support them and that you're there for them. You support their ideas and their thoughts, even if they might be bad ones. You're like, hey, I'm here for you. Let me know. I'll give you advice. Let me know. I'll help you in this area. Being encouraging. Now, it doesn't mean you're encouraging to go do something that's going to hurt them, but it also means the over-controlling in the aspect of no, you can't do this, oftentimes makes them do it even more. I was talking to someone the other day and they were like, yeah, I just believe in this amount of discipline and all this kind of stuff. They have to do it this way, have to do it this way. And someone else was like, I tried that. It doesn't work. They end up just doing everything opposite of what I told them to do anyways. So I had to stop doing that because all I was doing is pushing them to the thing that I didn't want them to go to. And I understand a lot of times people are doing that out of fear, out of I don't know what's going to happen, or I'm worried if they do this, that this will happen. Fear doesn't teach very well. Getting to the place where you're in a non-judgmental state. It's hard not to do because you want to keep them safe. You want to be able to protect them. And there's a level that you have to, and then there's a level that you have to let them make some of their own decisions. One of the things that is absolutely influential is being able to provide an emotionally safe environment for them. Because the narcissist typically isn't going to do that. The narcissist typically isn't going to provide an emotionally safe space for them to be themselves and to be able to process the things that they need to process. It's one of the differences that they'll start to see in the relationship is when you make space for their feelings and emotions and you help talk that through, you help them work through that and give them the tools to succeed in that, and they start to see that the other person, the toxic person, doesn't even care, they start to see a big difference. But that difference has to start with you and of what you do for you to be able to grow, to be able to change, and to be able to develop. Developing that safe place, having a non-judgmental attitude about the things they do, being supportive of them, knowing that you don't have it all together, but you're showing up real and raw and honest that this is who I am, this is what I'm struggling with. Those are some of the best ways to be able to help your kids move forward. To be able to help them understand that even though you don't have it together, you can still go go through life and not react in a negative and a toxic way. Maybe you're at the place today where you're struggling because you're like, I don't know if I should leave. I don't know if I should go. I don't know what I should do in this relationship. And you might be struggling with this idea of, but I don't want to because I don't want to cut off my child from their father. I don't want to cut them off from the person that should be in their life. And you're right, that person should be in their life, but that person is also making a choice. And the consequences of that choice is you choosing your kids and saying, hey, I'm going to protect you from toxicity. This is why the statement, it is better to have an absent parent than it is a toxic one. Because an absent parent you can work through and process because they're not constantly around causing trauma. They're not constantly around putting you in a state of mind that is very harmful for you and for your children. Choice is now. What are you going to do for you to help you heal, grow, change, and develop? I'm only here to try to build awareness, to try to wake people up, to try to help people understand what narcissism and toxic abuse is, and I'm trying to give you the tools to be able to help move forward. If you go to escapetoxicity.com, you can start to see one of the tools that we created. One of many tools to try to be able to help you break free from the mindset of being stuck with a narcissist where you can't get free because you're stuck in a trauma bond. You know in your head, this is not a good relationship. I should leave. I should not go back. I should not text that person. But you still feel it and you still do it. And you feel stuck and you feel hurt and you feel like there's no way out. There's 100% a way out. And we help guide people that way every single day. You go to escapetoxicity.com, start off on the 7-day challenge for your healing. If you want to talk to me more one-on-one, explain some of your story, ask questions, you can go to rawmotivations.com, click on the one-on-ones. We'd love to be able to help be a partner in your healing and in your growth.